Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about a team again. A team that I think could surprise a lot of us by being better than we expect. Yeah, I'm talking about the Vancouver Canucks. I brought some jerseys to give you a little better of a view about the team I'm talking about. And not only the Vancouver Canucks do have a great jersey history, they have beautiful jerseys right now. This is their current alternate, their current road jersey, and another current alternate. They have beautiful jerseys, but they also have a good team. So let's have a look at the team of the Vancouver Canucks, and I tell you what I think about them and what I expect from them in the season 2022-2023. So what can I tell you about the Vancouver Canucks? They had a pretty good 2021-2022 season. They didn't make the playoffs, but I think this was because of the first 25-30 games when they still had Travis Green as their coach. As soon as Bruce Boudreau took over, the Canucks went skyrocket. They went, I think, 35-15-7 after Boudreau took over. This was very, very good. And it was a lot of fun watching this team. They have a good roster. They're over the cap, yeah, but with putting Michael Furlan back on LTIR, where he will not come off again the rest of his career. I'm very sorry for that. He's a great energy guy. This $3.5 million cap relief will bring them under the cap. They have then a little bit of room, but less than $1 million. So they are against the cap. They do have one extra draft pick in next year's draft. It's a 4th rounder they have from the New York Rangers. So clearly they are not in a rebuild mode, and they should not be. They have a pretty good roster. They have a pretty balanced roster. And what I did not expect from them, they were 8th last year in goals against in the NHL. They were only 18th in goals for. I would have expected that to be the other way around. Because feeling like always when I saw a Vancouver game, they scored a lot of goals. And they also allowed a lot of. But obviously I watched only parts of their season. Yeah. Okay, I'm in Munich, Germany, and I do have a full-time job. I cannot do what the hockey guy does, watch every game. That's not me. Anyway, the Canucks. As mentioned, I think this is a good roster. Starting with Elias Patterson, with Brock Besser, Bo Horvat, who is in a contract year, unless he signs a contract until the beginning of the season, which is absolutely possible. He's their captain, one of the absolute leaders. And with $5.5 million for next year, he is a bargain. He is really good. JT Miller, of course, there were a lot of trade discussions about him in the offseason. It ended up with him signing a 7-year extension for $8 million, kicking in next year. Then we do have Connor Garland under contract for 4 more years. They signed Ilya Mikheyev from Toronto. They have still Tanner Pearson on the books for 2 more years. They have Jason Dickinson as a 3rd, maybe 4th liner. He absolutely underperformed last season. Curtis Lazar, great energy guy. Vasily Podkolzin, who is on the rise. Nils Höglander, who is very interesting as he did not play that much under Bruce Boudreau. He's a talented guy and he's not a 4th liner. Maybe he should get a fresh start with another organization, but this remains to be seen. He could definitely be in the top 6 in Vancouver. And then, of course, there's this guy they signed from the KHL named Andrei Kuzmenko. He played, in the KHL until now, so undrafted player out of the KHL. Do you hear the bell ringing? Yeah? Artemi Panarin? He also was an undrafted player out of the KHL. Could Kuzmenko step into his footprints? This would be very fascinating, and I don't think that happens, but can't rule that out. The Canucks, if they get a Kuzmenko as he played last year in the KHL, where he had in 45 games, 20 goals, 33 assists, for 53 points for SKA St. Petersburg. In the playoffs, 16 games played, 7 goals, 7 assists, 14 points. This is an impressive stat line for a player in the KHL. And SKA is not the NHL. Of course, he has to get used playing in the NHL with a smaller ice surface, with a much faster and much harder game. But he's 26, he is young enough, he can adjust to playing in North America quite fast, I guess. If not, his cap hit is $950,000, so he could be buried in the minors without any cap damage to the Canucks. This is a one-year show-me deal, the way it should be for a guy that's coming undrafted out of the KHL. Good job, Vancouver Canucks. So I think this can put together a pretty good top 9. They will definitely not be a top-heavy team, so have only one scoring line or this one or two superstars who are doing all the load. They will be a pretty balanced attack. They can bring 3, maybe 4 scoring lines. And this will be very interesting to see how their opponents adjust to the Canucks being able to roll at least 3 dangerous scoring lines. On D, yeah, as mentioned, last year they were 8th in goals against. They did not lose a major part. They still have Quinn Hughes, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Tyler Myers, Tucker Poolman if he's healthy, Travis Dermott, Luke Shen, Kyle Burrows, and upcoming right now, not on the roster, but Jack Rathbone is there. He played for them last year. You have Philip Johansson, you have Jed Wu. This could be guys that force their way into the lineup. Let's see how they do. How they do, especially in Abbotsford, which is their AHL team, yeah, of course. If they force their way into Vancouver, if they get helped by injuries, this all remains to be seen. But, as mentioned, I think they also have a solid defense, and with Thatcher Demko in goal, a guy that could have been nominated for the Vezina last year. He was not, but he wasn't consistent enough. I think he wasn't consistent enough. He had some weak spots, but basically a very, very good season by Thatcher Demko on a team that, at least after Bruce Boudreau took over, was very good. Before that, not so much. He was really rock solid if he can stay that way and provide them with a goaltending like he did last year. I think the Canucks then can be a team that can not only score a lot of goals, but not allow a lot of goals. They could win a lot of games. They could get a lot of points, and they could easily keep it up with Calgary and Vancouver to fight for the title in the Pacific Division. So I think this team really could surprise us by competing for the title in the Pacific Division if everything goes to plan. Of course, there's also the possibility this goes into the other direction and nothing works, but I personally think that the Canucks have a roster and a coach, both good enough to push for a playoff spot, push for a division title, maybe, and if they make the playoffs, they could go on a run. I don't say the Canucks are a contender for the Stanley Cup, but yeah, you never know what happens in the playoffs. This team has potential in the 2022-2023 season, and I wish them the best, because it would be so great to see more Canadian teams have success. Alright, that's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and let me know what do you think about the chances, about the team of the Vancouver Canucks in the 2022-2023 season. Thanks again, have a good time, goodbye.